A boxing gym and community centre in Sheffield could be forced out by a new retail development. Volunteers running the Hood community project at Manor Top say over the past 7 years it's improved health and reduced crime and arson in the area. But they need to secure a long-term lease on their existing premises at the old Prince Edward School. While volunteer Leroy Young is calling on the council to turn down plans for a development on the site and give them a secure lease.
Without a lease we can't get investment, and we need investment to do showers, toilets, heating, all that kind of stuff. So we need to be able to demonstrate to people that want to invest that the project's a guarantee that it'll still be here in 10 years' time.
Kate Linderholm reports.
This weight loss class collectively has lost a massive 173 stone since they started coming 5 months ago. There are boxing classes for youngsters, keeping lads like 16-year-old Reese away from drugs and gangs.
I learned respect here from boxing, listening to Regan taking everything in what he's telling us.
These regulars say it's been a lifeline.
My doctor told me if I didn't get out and about and get active, I'd be dead within 12 months. And I've lost 11 stone.
To lose here at Ridge, you'd be taking a lot off a place that needs it.
The Hood was founded by Regan Denton. He wants to inspire people to make better choices.
Crime has dropped by half and fires by half, and antisocial behaviour. There's no true words idle hands work for the devil, and that's giving these people something positive to do with their hands and be a part of something positive, because there's nothing round here.
3,000 people have signed a petition calling on the council to give the centre a long lease to secure its future.
It is Toby at breakfast, it is BBC Radio Sheffield, and let's talk about this amazing fitness and boxing club at Manor Top in Sheffield. Now, as you've heard in the news with Nick, there are doubts over the future of the Hood community project because of redevelopment work at the old Prince Edward School. We've spoken about the Hood before. It's an amazing story. Kate Linderholm went to meet some of the people who say that they literally owe their lives to the centre.
Today's weight loss class is packed and it's getting amazing results. In the 5 months it's been going, the group of more than 40 regulars has lost a total of 173 stones. Mark Caterer is 56. He weighed 47 stone when he first arrived.
My doctor told me if I didn't get out and about and get active, I'd be dead within 12 months. I phoned Regan up, been here now 14 months, and I've lost 11 stone.
And you want it to keep going?
Of course I do, love, because I've got another 10.5 stone to lose. I've got my grandson to look after, and I can see a bright future for myself just because of me coming here with these people.
6 seconds, bring them up! Uppercut! Come on!
Gillian Jones was virtually bedbound just over a year ago with severe health problems.
I was planning my funeral this time last year, and I've got kids, and I'm not now.
That's an extraordinary thing to say.
I know I'm going to cry. My little girl wrote a letter saying I want to pray for my mummy. I came here when I sorted it out, and they've been so supportive. Now I'm waking up and I'm feeling energetic, I'm feeling positive. My energy levels have risen dramatically. They've gone from practically zero to I feel fine. I've stopped using some of my medication. I've stopped using as much OxyContin as they were giving me, which is stronger than morphine. I only take it if I absolutely have to now.
Since the centre was founded 7 years ago by Regan Denton, it's gone from strength to strength. It started at the Fairleys Club at Manor Top and 3 years ago took over the nearby disused old Prince Edward School buildings. It's all run by volunteers. People tell me it's like being part of a family coming here and say it's their mental health and sense of community that's been improved as much as their physical fitness. Em, who's recovering from domestic violence and post-traumatic stress disorder, says if this place went, it would be a tragedy for the manor and for Sheffield as a whole.
You tell me in Sheffield where you're going to get a personal trainer, £5 an hour, you're not going to get it. I've been to that many gyms, I've lost count. You don't get what you get here. To lose here at Ridge, it really would. You'd be taking a lot, and I mean a hell of a lot, off a place that needs it.
More than 3,000 people have now signed a petition calling on the council to allow the volunteers running the centre a longer lease and turn down plans for a commercial development on the site.
We've spoken about the Hub before, and it's an amazing place. It's not just a gym, it's not just boxing, it's a community hub. And when do you hear ladies like that lady talking about, going to fitness classes like that, It's done an amazing job so far. Retired firefighter Mark Wilkinson, I beg your pardon, is a director on the board. Mark, good morning.
Morning.
The council obviously are under financial pressures, and there's money up for this site.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the council?
Well, they've been fantastic, to be honest. They've supported us, and they've given us the premise on three bases, basically. And part of that role was just to use the facilities, but also maintain it. Because as an ex-fire officer, I know that if that building was left empty, it would have been probably, well, burnt down by now, obviously. But we've been given the role as caretakers, but we've also used the facilities, which has been fantastic. But the council, I understand that, you know, they've got restraints, they need money and all that. But I see the value of keeping the community up. We've got 1,500 members now. We started with 4, and we've got 1,500 people coming on a day, not on a daily basis, but we've got 300 people coming in every day. There's 300 people from the local community coming in.
And this is people that previously may well not have engaged with things like fitness classes, health and fitness, local society, really.
That's right, yeah. And initially, some people just come in for a cup of tea or a coffee, and then they talk to the friends, and it's a friendly atmosphere. And then they start getting involved in some of the activities, it just snowballs, because once they realise the health benefits and they're feeling a lot better with themselves, then they become, they become an active member, and then obviously they tell their friends, and it just keeps going.
Whilst everybody's listening to this, and as some people tend to do, think, oh, here we go, a lot of do-gooders talking off again. You were a firefighter nearby. The reason you went down to the hood was because you'd noticed how much arson had dropped.
Yeah, and it was just a chance. Yeah, it was just a chance meeting, and I was trying, because that was part of my role, was to check, where the incidents were occurring and everything, and I thought, well, why are they dropping here? Because it was a marked drop in the numbers of incidents, and so I made some inquiries, and then I met somebody, a police officer, and he says, oh, have you seen this hood? Because we don't know what it's all about. So I just drove round and found out where it was, and met Regan. And I think there was about 8 kids at that time, with a few punch bags in the Fairley Social Club. And I thought, well, this is amazing, to see kids of all ages engaging in a disciplined kind of like environment. I thought it was fantastic. So I got involved, and South Yorkshire Fire and the police give some funding to the hood to get him a boxing ring and a few bags and gloves and things like that, and it got the ball rolling, basically.
See, I think that's absolutely fascinating. That's not facts and figures. That's somebody saying a fire officer noticed that arson had dropped, went to see why, and it was this place that was doing it. As you say, the council have worked with you on it, haven't they? And we know there are financial pressures. What do you want them to do, though? What would you ask them for?
Well, this is part of the reason that you've asked me in today, or well, I've asked if we can come in, is that we're getting a petition together, and all the petition does, it's a way forward, so we can arrange a meeting with the council, because by getting a petition, I didn't know this, but now I do, to get a petition in, and then you can ask for a meeting with the council. So we'll sit down together and try and resolve what the issues are, and how we can move forward to secure the hood on the Manor Top for forever, basically. It needs to be there forever. I think it's fantastic.
Well, thanks very much indeed for coming in this morning. We're going to speak, I believe, to your local council later. I think we're speaking to Terry Fox.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Mark Wilkinson from the Hood, thanks very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, Toby. Thank you.
Good morning, it's Toby at Breakfast. It's BBC Radio Sheffield, where we're talking about the Hood. It's more of this club on Manor Top in Sheffield, which seems to have an uncertain future. The Hood Community Project, it works to keep troubled youth out of gangs. It's also really working hard and having some great success tackling obesity and other social problems. Kate Linderholm has this.
We all know getting fit is good for us, but at this place, they reckon it's good for the whole community. It was founded by former champion boxer Regan Denton. He's seen life's highs and lows. He's won in the ring, but has been in trouble with the law and served time. He's now inspiring others to make positive choices with their lives.
This classic morning, what we've done, I think it's only its 5th month, we've lost 173 stone. And it's not just making the kids better, it's making the mums and dads better. Oak clubs now are shut, and the Hood, it stands for brotherhood, sisterhood, parenthood, neighbourhood.
The boxing club and fitness classes are popular with a vast range of people. Reese is 16. He heard his mates talking about the boxing training here a couple of years ago.
First time I ever seen Regan. He smiled, come over, asked me what my name were, told me who we were, shook my hand and just basically said to me, you'll give me 100%, I'll give you 200.
Reese had the toughest start in life. He doesn't have a mum or dad and said he was headed for trouble until he found a family here at the Hood.
When you go to do stuff, you think, nah, I don't want to let Regan down. Trust him a lot more than I trust some people in my family.
Is it fair to say you found it hard to trust people in life?
I've had a lot of broken trust, yeah, so it's hard for me to trust people. Everyone will have come in with a problem through that door. Once you come here, you forget about it, you're part of Hood. When you leave, you're your own person, you feel nice about yourself because you've been somebody, and you go home, and then at least you're not sat there like all other kids on computers, on doing stuff what's not good for them. You're doing stuff what's good for you physically, mentally. You could just, it's like a rehab for kids who are just troubled, or if they've got problems at home. I'd recommend it to anyone, me.
Well, joining me in the studio now is Councillor Terry Fox. He's the Labour councillor for the Manor. He's here with Mick Hartley from the Hood. Terry, it's an amazing place, isn't it?
It is, Toby, and really we've got to start from the pace. You must have had many politicians in here that say, I'm in it, no matter what goes off, I'm in it to see the benefits for the community, and this is why we're in it, and this has been grown organically. I started off with Egan when he first gave me a call when he was in back of Farlees with a couple of scaffolding tubes and punch bags, and just seeing it grow from there. And obviously I've been blessed, I've been in with mixed group, etc., and I've just seen the real stories and the real successes that we've got in there. And it's an integral part of everything we're doing on the Manor with all the other groups to grow it. So the position we're in at the moment is trying to get some options on the table that we can sit down with council and cabinet and get a decision made. And we've got the backing of a lot of local councillors out here, such as old Jack Scott, Mick Drabble, my local councillors as well, Lisa Patton, all that. So we've got a real appetite to get a solution for that. But we just need to kind of get that part of that regeneration at Manor Top.
Mick, you do lots of work up there at the Hood. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. I'm just, myself and the Sheffield recovery community are just really grateful that the Hood give us an opportunity. They give us a room, which we rented at the beginning. We pay £20 a week, and we pay for a bit of fitness training for our recovery group to join in with the rest of the fitness class. But then we run out of money, and Regan came and said to me, you know what, because I was worrying about how we're going to carry on with this kickback recovery that's been going really well. And Regan said, listen, forget the money, here's the room, you can have it for nothing. I said, what about the training? He said, forget the training, everybody who turns up, which can be over 20 on a Thursday afternoon, they can train for nothing. And he stuck to his word, and I just feel really grateful, and that's why I'm here today. You know what I mean? That guy's been really good for me. The Hood's been good to the Sheffield recovery community. It gives us an opportunity to set up the Hood. The kickback recovery.
Well, let's talk to somebody who's just called in. This is somebody we haven't booked to talk about it this morning. Paul's in Richmond. Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
What does the Hood mean to you?
It means a lot to me and my family. My son was being bullied at school, and I had him here crying, and his whole life was affected. He was shouting at us and stuff like that. Finally got to the bottom of it. I took him to the Hood, and his confidence has just grown. He went in there like shy, didn't really want to make some. Now, a few weeks later, he sat at home when I come home from work, and he's there with his boxing gloves on, waiting to go up. The only downside to that is when he's sparring with me, he's knocking 7 bells out of my arm.
And this is what it's about, isn't it, Paul? He's making a real difference to people like your lad.
Oh, it is. And special mention's got to go as well for the charity work that they're doing. You know, they have these white-collar events that's raising money for Bluebell Wood. You've just had the guy on from the recovery. I'm seeing all old-age pensioners coming in just for a chat, for a cup of tea. They've got snooker tables that they can play at. You know, it is really just an entire community hub.
Paul, thanks very much indeed. Terry, I mean, genuinely, this isn't a place that needs shutting down. This is a place that needs boosting, isn't it?
Absolutely, and obviously I'm calling on a regular basis with Regan and Laura, Leroy, etc. And, you know, they know I've got their back, and we are fighting to maintain this, because this is real stories about real people. It's not facts and figures out of a book.
150 stone lost by the weight loss class. I mean, that's just amazing. It really is.
Well, in your voice box, old Mark Carter's there, and he'll give me one of it when he sees me up there. But these are real stories and real successes of people who are in there. The issue we've got at the moment is that a part of that regeneration, where do they fit in this jigsaw? Where's that piece fit? And that's the point that we've got to get across. And obviously, as I say, they've got other local councils fighting for them. And we need now, obviously, they've started this petition. We are going to take that forward to full council. We are going to have a...
You must be pushing it against a bit of an open door with Cabinet, aren't you? I mean, there must be a bit on your side.
Oh, well, when you look at the facts and figures that we're hitting the health and wellbeing agenda, we are hitting, the back to work. DWP are using that to get people back into work. We mixed group, etc. You can't put a cost on these things. That's the issue, is you can't put a value on it. But we are pushing on an open door, and it's getting them options on the table that are suitable for everybody. I heard what they were saying to me a couple of weeks ago when I was up there. They were saying that the funding's there, but they just need the long-term lease, etc., to enable that to release those funds down to move on. And I was up there yesterday, and they were telling me exactly that. We've got the early morning, the 10 o'clock, 10 session with pop, etc. That's growing beyond. So we're reaching a capacity now where we need that funding to enhance more people coming in.
And with kickback, I mean, if you had to move, Mick, it'd be a disaster, wouldn't it?
It would. It's from being up at the hood. We as you know, we then got an opportunity to go down to Cathedral Arch project and put kickback in there. That's Monday to Friday. That is really making an impact in there. And if we had to, but then we take people from the Sheffield Cathedral Arch project up to the hood on a Thursday afternoon, which we will do with this afternoon. That starts from 4 till 8. We take a minibus up there, and it's just working together. It's unbelievable what's happening.
Well, listen, we'll keep abreast of this. I think it's a fantastic place. I think the work you do there is amazing. I understand that there are financial pressures on the council. We all understand that, but I'm sure there can be talks to be had, can't there? Thanks very much indeed for coming in, Mick Hartley, Terry Fox. Well, it's time for the phone in, and we're going to do something that I think is really interesting because some people will shout at us today. The hood.
Yes.
Amy Nage is here.
Hello.
You look at what the hood actually does, and you just can't help think that if it was somewhere else, it might be all over the newspapers, this. The hood is on Manor Top. It's a community centre. But what it's doing is absolutely amazing, and it's under threat, kind of, from the council, although I think the council aren't going to try and work with them because somebody's offering a lot of money for the land it's on, but it's under threat of having to go. And the stuff it does there is amazing.
Every time we talk about them, you hear about something like the weight loss stuff that we heard this morning.
154 stone they've lost in 2 months.
10 stone he's lost. Yep. By it being helped by them, and you hear about something different they do every time you speak to them.
A woman in her 40s who was told she was going to die because of her weight, and instead, a year later, she's going on holiday. This is something real in the middle of a real community that's doing stuff for people for free, for nothing. They're just helping people out. And I just think it's an amazing story. And every time we talk about them, somebody phones in. Paul in Richmond phoned in and said, that's had a massive impact on my lad who was getting bullied, who had no confidence. He's been going there for a month or so, loves it. We were out last night, me and Daniel Green here.
Yes.
He got there eventually. In a community group, shall we say. And we've done lots of stuff with this, about the conversation clubs.
Yeah, volunteering, we did a lot about that, didn't we?
There are lots of places which help people turn their lives around.
And lots of people that might offer support and help you through something.
And there might not always be the most glamorous of buildings, and there might not always be the most glamorous of places, but these are real people helping real people with real problems. And we want to know about where you live. Do you have something like this? Do you just have a club? Do you have a coffee morning? Or are you somebody who's just helping you, like a counsellor or a scout leader? Who helps out in your community? There is no two ways about it. The best thing for me about the hood is always the story of how Mark Wilkinson became a director. He was a fire officer on the manor. And he noticed in a ring around the hood, arson went down. People weren't burning bins and cars anymore. He thought, why is that? And he went to the hood and he saw it because they were taking the kids off the streets. And it amazed him so much. He's a director of the place now and he helps out all the time. Is there something like that? Because if there was something like that everywhere, and there are people who deride volunteers as do-gooders. Do you want to call any of those three big lads who were in here this morning a do-gooder?
No, thanks.
no, thank you.
Even Terry Fox.
Yeah. People want to deride them as do-gooders. If everybody had a look at doing something like that in their own area, the place would be amazing, wouldn't it?
One of the interesting things that the Hood does, I think this is right, is obviously they've got gym equipment and they've got the boxing gym and that type of thing. And because obviously gym membership's so expensive, but people can go and they can pay a couple of quid, or if they can't afford that, then they can volunteer their time. So they can use it, but also volunteer, which I think is an amazing idea.
Yeah.
To say, actually, yeah, you can use the stuff, but you have to come and put a bit back as well, which is great.
And the fact that this is even under threat, I think is horrible. That's not the point for me, and I don't really know how to articulate it, which is a shame because I'm a radio presenter. But the fact that we barely know that it's under threat. If somebody was trying to move a posh gym, we'd know all about it.
Yeah.
If somebody was trying to move somewhere that people pay £70 a month to go to, and actually don't go to it that often, but when they do, it's okay because it's got big car parking spaces for the big cars. If somebody tried to shut that down because they wanted to build houses on it, there would be uproar in this city. They really, really would. The Hood, I got a phone call about this last week from Dennis Coleman, who was one of the people who was going to buy Rotherham United at once. And he told me about it, and he told me the work that they're doing there. It's amazing. It's literally amazing. Literally life-changing work. I don't understand what's going off with the council, I don't know, and I understand they have pressures, and I also understand there's lots of the council that are really behind the Hood. And I think there's going to be work done there. But it's exactly the kind of thing that we should be really shouting about, isn't it? And making real changes, real differences.
The Phone-In with Toby Foster.
On BBC Radio Sheffield.
Good morning, it's Toby at Breakfast. It's BBC Radio Sheffield, where we want to talk this morning about the people who make a difference in your life. 0114 279 6699. We've been talking about a club called The Hood in Manor Top. And whilst we were talking about it, Paul in Richmond phoned in to say what a huge impact it had had on his son.
It means a lot to me and my family. My son was being bullied at school. I had him here crying, and his whole life was affected. He was shouting at us and stuff like that. Finally got to the bottom of it. I took him to The Hood, and his confidence has just grown. He went in there like shy, didn't really want to make some. Now, a few weeks later, he's sat at home when I come home from work, and he's there with his boxing gloves on, waiting to go up. The only downside to that is when he's sparring with me, he's knocking 7 bells out of the arm.
And this is what it's about, isn't it, Paul? He's making a real difference to people like your lad.
Oh, it is. And special mention's got to go as well for the charity work that they're doing. You know, they have these white-collar events that's raising money for Bluebell Wood. You've just had the guy on from the recovery. I'm seeing all old-age pensioners coming in just for a chat, for a cup of tea. You've got snooker tables that they can play at. You know, it is really just an entire community hub.
So what do you make to it? Is there something like The Hood where you live? Is there a community group or a club, or is it just an individual? Maybe it's a social worker who absolutely changed everything round for you. Community activist, a counsellor. Tell us what they've done for you. Tell us how you've turned your life round. Or have you decided, as you got a bit older, or you lost your job, or just things became a bit easier time-wise, to set something up? Are you a scout master? 0114 279 6699. You hear stories like this. And there's some really amazing places sometimes in really unexpected areas, doing fantastic work. And it's all volunteers, and it's just changing people's lives. Julie is at Manor Park. Morning, Julie.
Morning.
Morning. So I understand that you go to The Hood.
Yeah, I'm relatively new. I only started going 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'd followed my daughter. She's been going for a year, lost 4 stone. emotionally, physically, a well-being's fantastic. So I thought, I'm going to go and have a look what this is all about.
Yeah.
Never exercised, ever, and I mean never. Started 10 minutes on a bike and a treadmill, up to an hour now. It's an absolutely fantastic place.
So, hang on a minute. That's amazing. So, 51 and you've never exercised?
No, never.
So, how did you feel then walking in the place for the first time?
Nervous, but
Yeah.
I went with my daughter. I'd been welcomed before I got there. You must come up, you must come and have a look. And they embrace you. The minute you walk through the door, you're part of their family. The work that Regan and Laura and Pop are doing up there is unbelievable. I can't speak highly enough. I really, really can't.
So, tell us where you are now, 8 weeks on.
8 weeks on, I've been doing some personal training with my daughter on the bags. I'm up to 10 rounds and a double.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, I will be attending class for the first time, and I cannot wait.
And have you lost weight? Was that what you wanted to do?
I've not lost weight yet. I
Yeah.
need to look at my diet, but I'm a community staff nurse. The reason I started going is if I had to walk up 2 flights of stairs to a visit, I was breathless. And that has changed already. I feel fitter. I feel emotionally better. And it's just the start. This is just the start. But I will be keeping going without a doubt.
And what is it that makes you want to go? Because exercise is still exercise. If you didn't like it before, you can't like it now, can you?
Well, yeah, but I do. I've caught that bug that I've heard people talk about, and how much better you feel emotionally after you've trained and how much more energy you've got. Never believed it, but now I've been doing it for 8 weeks. I really can see the benefits to it.
Well, Julie, stay there. Don't go anywhere, because I'm going to just have a quick chat with Regan from the Hood. Regan set the Hood up 7 years ago. Morning, Regan.
Morning, Toby. Morning, Sheffield. And morning, the Hood.
I tell you what, you've been getting some people saying some very nice things about you this morning, Regan. Tell us about why you decided to set the Hood up.
Well, me being a local kid from local estate manor and growing up Manor, seeing a lot of my friends go down certain paths, and even myself had a taste of it myself, where you can go down right path, you can go down wrong path, or you can go down path just trying to look for something, and you hit these hurdles in front of you what can lead you, like you say you did this morning, addiction, mentally unwell, and it's not that crime, arson and all things like that. And I've seen it happening in the local area where I were, and I just thought, for everything what I've been through, because I had a good glittering boxing career, but then with people and friends I knew, I ended up going down the wrong path again, even when I'm living in Miami. I've got big cars, I've got this, I've got big friends in big places, and I ended up going down the wrong path again because I ended up lacking from discipline, where boxing teaches discipline, and I could see it happening. I could see it happening in local areas. So I went out to kids, and a kid got shot on front in local park where I live, and a kid got stabbed, and I could see kids just chucking, emptying bins and setting them on fire, and setting setting post boxes, bush shelters, anything what they could burn with a lighter, they'd burn. So I went out to him one day, what's all this about? Why are you doing this? And cussing on me, cussing my face because I've boxed, I've been about. And he said, we're bored, Regan. So I said, right, and I was a professional boxer at the time, looking to box for a European title. And so in training for that, and I asked these kids, what is it with them? Said, we're bored. So I give them a bit of what worked for me with discipline, being a part of something positive, a boxing gym where I grew up with Sheffield Boxing Centre, Glen Roads. He was a big influence in my life. He weren't, like I say, someone there to shout at me. It was someone to guide me, someone to love me, put their arm around me and say, come on, I've been there, I've seen what you're doing, come and do what we do. And I got kids training and doing something positive with their hands. I always say it, there's no true word idle work for the devil. And got them training in park, and you could see it knock-on effect. We got them cleaning up park where we live, and we got cleaning up estate. And number 10 bus started running through estate again, where kids used to stand here and brick it for a bit of entertainment because they were bored. I thought it's pointless. But when I looked round, there ain't nothing for them to do. And even you'd see them stood there throwing stones on Main Road of Princewell Road, hoping their stone's going to go through a car window.
Which is crackers. And then
an innocent passerby, just for a bit of entertainment.
And it's just moved on so much. I mean, could you imagine 7 years ago, Regan, when you started it, that you'd have people like Julie on the phone this morning? Morning, Julie. She's still with us.
Morning, Julie.
Morning.
Could you have imagined 7 years ago you'd have had people like Julie doing what she's doing?
Do you know what? I always say, my dream was to... I was never very good academic when it comes to school. I was dyslexic, and it was never seen as that. I'm 40 next, and it weren't seen as that. I was seen as a troubled kid, but I weren't. I had all this energy, and I had to express it. And I always wanted to do. I wanted to box. I wanted to be a trainer. But like I said, it's gone way above my head now. The people's come together. As you've seen, crime drop. We've done as much as we can do. Now we need an handout for the people above to give an help up and give that security. We're playing with people's lives. It's going back to throwing them kids throwing stones at them cars on things. It costs over £1 million for fatality. Imagine for all them call-outs, so money they're saving and money we're all saving as a community in police time, fire services. Mark Wilkinson, that's how he knew, because he could have a cup of tea in peace and concentrate on real arse instead of some kid burning park down for just being bored. So yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger daily. It's not just support from just the people. There's even the people, Anthony Joshua and Lennox Lewis, they all support it, because they realise if there weren't little community projects like this, even Steve Cram's supporting it, where if they didn't these little community projects, they wouldn't be the people who they are today.
Absolutely. Julie, what do you want to say to Regan?
Well, he's just doing an amazing job. And you know what? If we could bottle what you've got up there, Regan, we'd be millionaires.
Oh,
but we are millionaires, aren't we?
Well, in life, that's it. If we can get drop crime, drop fires in his local estate, and that's where we're from, and make people, like I said, with Mark Cater and other people, as I say, list could go on endless, and get that kid off drugs, and then that kid gets his mum back, that mum gets his daughter back, and that's what it's doing. It's a network where it's bringing people together now.
Regan and Julie, thank you very much indeed this morning. It's just been great to talk to you. We're just giving a shout out really to people who've made a difference in your life. Texas are coming in this morning. Wow, listening to Regan and Julie, it's inspirational, says Debs. Toby, I pass the hood every day. I'm suffering with depression and mental health. I'm also drinking way too much. I'm scared to go into the hood, but I'm sure I will benefit from it. Dave, you absolutely would. Hi, Toby. The hood is a great place, but Prince Edward School is over 100 years old. Why don't they set up in a modern building? I think if somebody gave them a modern building, they probably would. On the line now is former Rotherham United chairman, Dennis Coleman. Good morning, Dennis.
Yeah, good morning, Toby.
Now, you're involved with the hood, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I've been involved. Well, I got involved about 2-3 years ago by doing a bit of sponsorship for hoodies and stuff for the kids up there.
Yeah.
Kept in touch with Regan, and for the last 6 or 7 months, I've been heavily involved trying to help them to get a lease sorted out and trying to turn it into a business, really.
So, why are you so interested in it, Dennis?
I've been involved with many things, including professional football during my business career. And this is just something that's just touched me. It's so special. It's unbelievable. You go up there and to see the respect that the place gives everybody and self-assurance, it's unbelievable what's happening.
We've been inundated, really, with people, just phoning in and saying, it's made a difference to me, it's made a difference to me. And for all sorts of things. I mean, the drugs and rehab work they're doing up there is amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's drugs. There's fitness class in the morning, just one fitness class that a guy called Pops runs. It's unbelievable. They've lost something like 150 stone in 12 months just in that one class. It's incredible.
And why do you think it takes something like this? Why? What's so special about the hood that this is managing to get to the kids?
Because it's real. It's real. It's not the bull that's spread about by politicians and all the rest of it. This is real. It's run by real people.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So what's going to be your input there? Because it is quite apparent that what Regan started has become very big.
Oh, it's grown beyond belief.
Yeah.
All Regan expected was to get a few lads off the street, teach them a bit of boxing, a bit of discipline, but it's just grown into this monster, if you like, that something's got to be done with it. And it's got to stay, and it needs a place, either the Hood or a specially built place, because what's happening there is incredible. It's what politicians are saying every day they want to happen in our country. And this is something that's happening. No money's been thrown at it. There's been absolutely no money given to it. We need to take it to the next stage. And to do that, we need to get some money. Everybody we're approaching want to help. People like Lottery, big business want to help. But they can't because their hands are tied. No one can give you anything because there's no lease.
So that's what they need. They need some security.
Need security, absolutely. That's until they get security. It can't go no further, and it's at a stage now where it just can't go backwards because it's just so important to so many people's lives.
Dennis, thanks very much indeed for being involved this morning. Perry's in Gleed this morning, Perry.
Morning, Toby, all right?
I'm all right, thank you, Perry. We're talking about places and people that have helped us this morning.
Yeah, I've just been listening to your show this morning. I just wanted to ring up about the Hood at Manor Top, yeah. Well, firstly, I'd just like to start by thanking Regan and some of the lads who he's got up there training. A few years ago now, I had like a tragic sort of year, really, and I started to fall into depression and go wrong way with sort of things. And I just met Regan in a cafe, and he was explaining to me that he'd got this gym, and he sort of invited me up, to go and train with him. And then after that, I started to feel a lot better, started enjoying boxing, started doing a few runs on Saturday mornings with him and started building them up. Went on to run Sheffield half marathon and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And really, anyone who's feeling a bit down or out like that, just call in. They made me feel welcome. I'm sure they probably make anyone else feel just as welcome. And it's a great way to get fit, but also to feel a lot better within yourself. Well,
tell us about that, because you say you're depressed and kind of not feeling good at all, were you?
Yeah, now I felt rubbish really at that point in my life. But now just training and boxing them bags and running it off, it's a great way to get better, to feel fitter and just get your life back on track. So. Yeah.
So it's really made a difference to you then?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it to stay open, actually, to remain it open. So it's a great place.
It sounds like something's got to happen, doesn't it?
And also as well, I just wanted to mention there's a great mural at Sheffield City in the kitchen in there as well, done by Chris Ashmore.
All right.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's fantastic.
We spoke to him yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I was listening. That's why I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, we spoke to him yesterday.
He's a great artist.
Well, listen, thanks ever so much indeed for calling, Perry. Yeah. Lovely to talk to you. That's Perry in Gleedless. Another vote for the Hood. Morning, Zoe.
Morning. Hi, can you hear me?
I can now, yeah, I've got you. So, tell us your story.
So, it's my brother's story, actually. So, my brother had been a drug addict ever since he was a young child, and about 18 months ago, that became a real problem. He was on the brink of, I think he would have been dead if he hadn't have gone into rehab, really. So we hadn't seen him for he was in a really bad way. Nobody knew where he was. He was off the radar with his family. He pretty much hit rock bottom and lost everything.
Oh, how did that feel? How did that feel, Zoe?
Oh, it's been really tough for everybody in the family. Really hard. He has a young son. He has a partner. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But he got help. He went into rehab. But when he came out, he was at a real risk of just going back, and he had nothing really in his life. He, no self-esteem, low confidence, no friends, nowhere to go. And he came across the Hood and Mick Hartley and the recovery sessions there. And I mean, in my opinion, they saved his life, and he's still clean now. And in fact, I'm going on holiday with him next week for the first time since we were children.
Oh, really?
So it's pretty radical how it's changed his life. I mean, they just gave him a sense of belonging, some people to talk to, treated him like an individual. Obviously, the recovery sessions that they do up there, you know, he'd never done anything like that before, so he was really nervous about Narcotics Anonymous or going to those sessions. But that environment is much more grassroots and led by the community. It doesn't feel like medical or clinicians or professionals, and that was what he needed then. So, I really believe that, you know, local government really needs to get behind this project. They talk a lot about, we want to see asset-based community development programs. So basically, the community driving things, and then we'll put the money in. Well, this is a perfect example of that, and they need to get behind it. It's doing great things out there. You know, I know lots of people who've benefited from it. And even though my brother doesn't go anymore, it certainly, played a role in his recovery.
So, you've not been on holiday together since you were kids, and now, because of the rehab and then the hood, you're off away.
Yeah, well, I didn't really have a relationship with him at all. You know, I hardly saw him, we didn't speak. He'd done an awful lot of bad things to our family. You know, it was really hard to engage with him. And now I talk to him on a regular basis. We do things as a family. He spends time with us and my children, and we're going away on holiday next week.
Lovely stuff. Whereabouts are you going?
We're going to Tenerife.
Well, hey! Lovely stuff.